out there for us. We just have to know where to get it, how to find it, how to manage it. Okay? And so that's what I really wanted to kind of nail home today. And God also whispered this scripture. Paul's writing to the young preacher Timothy. And look at what he says in 1 Timothy 5 verse 8. But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he is denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Those are powerful words, isn't it? So this idea of us of stewarding well, leaving something for generations to come, learning how to own and purchase, using our skill sets to create wealth, things of that nature is something I believe many churches aren't, given instruction on. I'm excited this week because I brought my notepad, and I get to sit and listen and take notes because these are areas that we all can kind of get some nuggets from. And I'm glad that we've been blessed at Zion to have our own set of resources. Yes. God has just sent people our way who specialize in certain fields and certain areas. And tonight, we're going to start off in the area of real estate. And we're going to talk about how important it is for us to own property. And I'll let the specialists talk more about that here in just a moment. But you know, God didn't promise Israel money. He promised Israel land. Think about that. It was the promised land. And so I think there's something there as we build this foundation. Let's have a word of prayer, and then our first group of presenters are going to be the real estate agents of Zion Christian Ministries. That sounds like a TV show, doesn't it? The real real estate agents of Zion. All right, and I think they have their own order and things worked out, so we'll just turn it over to them. Let's pray. Father, I thank you tonight for everyone who is here, everyone is on the way, everyone who's streaming in right now. And I pray, Lord, that you would use these sessions to empower us, that we have tangible resources that we can use, Father, to hit our lives and create balance. That we're not just in here on Sunday mornings going through the rituals, but that we're actually leaving here and going out living productive lives, and we're able to pay our bills and leave an inheritance and leave a legacy for our families. And I thank you and honor you tonight for willing vessels who are coming to share their gifts and their talents and their skills with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Let's give it up for the real estate agents. You all can come in your own way.
Those little bags right there, I just put some little trinkets in it so you guys don't push them aside. Take them with you because you know y'all like free stuff. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Karen Lee, also known as Mike Lee's wife, and also known in the real estate game as Kay Lee.
Hey.
So here recently I was approached with the opportunity to speak briefly on investing in yourself as it pertains to real estate. But before I do that, I'm going to give you a little synopsis of myself. So I stumbled up on real estate game in 2017 while I was behind a chair in my salon, and I was thinking, what else can I do besides hair? Because I was having aches in my lower back, and I was like, I can't be an old hairdresser, but I'm doggone I could be an old realtor. So that's how I became a realtor. So I can remember just as clear as it was yesterday, praying in the car prior to my appointed time to take the exam and vowing to God that if He allowed me to pass this real estate exam, that I would be so ever so mindful to give Him the glory. Amen. So I was warned several times over while studying for the exam to prepare at least to take the test 2 to 3 times before you pass it, because hardly nobody passes it on the first try. Well, apparently I'm different. Let's go. So this evening I'm going to talk about, once again, investing in yourself as it pertains to real estate. So what actually is the meaning of investing when it pertains to real estate? So I looked up the actual meaning of investing as it pertains to real estate, and this is the meat and potatoes of the definition. Investing in the context of real estate refers to the act of purchasing, owning, or leasing properties with the intention of generating income or achieving long-term appreciation. It involves allocating finances, resources to acquire real estate assets such as residential properties, commercial buildings, or land with the expectation on earning a return on the investment. Earning a return on the investment. Remember that. Every time you're out and about, what actually do you see? It doesn't matter what state you're in or what continent that you're on. What actually do you see? Real estate. Let's go. Okay, so investing somewhere, either in your own home and building equity, or you have rental property and have your tenants paying for your mortgage. That's a come up right there. There are several different types of real estate that we can invest in. There's land, there's farm, there's residential, multi-family units, commercial lease, and commercial sales. So in 2006, I had the opportunity to buy my first piece of real estate, which was a new construction. I was so proud of myself, and I felt accomplished, as if I have arrived. I had an amazing realtor while going through the home buying process, and she's still amazing to this day. However, had she educated me on how to actually invest in myself, then just imagine where I would be today. So since I didn't get it in 2006, educated-wise, as far as from her, I'm going to give it to you in 2024. Earlier, when I went over the meaning of investing, and the last sentence was, with the expectation of earning a return on your investment. Now, I'm not here to tell you when I sold my property, I didn't get a return on my investment, because I did. I'm here to tell you, had my trusted realtor advised me, hey Karen, instead of buying this residential single family, one income, single family home right now, hold off on that and purchase a duplex, 2 incomes, quad, that's 4 right there. 4, oh, okay. Live in that for 12 months, lease the unit you're living in. After 12 months, you're still owning a property, but lease it out after 12 months. After 12 months, after you acquire that property, you can lease it out. Cash flow that 4-unit multi-family property and get that home with the pool, right? You already owning this, but you leasing this door right there. It's 4 doors. You leasing this door that you were occupying for 12 months. Now you done came up and you got the property that you want with the pool and the palm trees. Well, maybe not in Tennessee, but you know what I'm saying. But had I known then what I know now, we all be up in my pool. Okay. So In 2006, I could have been the owner of the multi-family unit, investing in myself right from the jump start. And in 2024, I'm sure it would have already been paid for. There are several different ways to invest in yourself, and I would love to share with you more, but I only was allotted a certain amount of time. This is a time that we need to be educating our children and encouraging them to start investing in themselves early, okay? Educating them on the importance of investing in a multi-family unit as their first piece of real estate. Can be the catalyst of their investment journey in real estate. This is the key to setting them up financially and also setting them up apart from others. Let's take a vow to at least educate our kids on the importance of investing in ourselves and themselves. And as I always end with this, if you're not paying for your mortgage, you're paying for somebody else's mortgage.
Wow.
So I'm not even saying that, when you buy your first home, that owning, getting a single family home is bad. I'm not saying that, because it's amazing. You're still investing in yourself. But how about reel that thing back and get a quadplex? Get 4 doors for your first property. Live in this for 12 months. Get your income on these 3 doors. And then if you want to be a little stickler, charge yourself. Because you're banking on yourself. Then you come on up out of this piece right here in 12 months. You get a contractual leasing agreement with a deposit. You coming up out of here. This still your property. But however, instead of being an investor, you switching the game right now. You're not really being an investor coming over here because this is what you like. You like taste and see that. Taste and see that. So you like this right here, but you still the owner of this property, and now this is your primary property. I'm not going to dibble and dab in the loan officer's lane, but however, since I know, you could come into this with a conventional loan 5%. Instead of 15 to 25% as an investor. You could come at 5% down, 3.5% down in this pool. Invest in yourself. That's all I got to say. Any questions?
I'm going to bring all 3 of you back up, or 4 of you, however many, and we'll do one big Q&A.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Brooks, and I am a realtor with United Real Estate in Middle Tennessee. Karen and I are at the same location, and it's been great. I've been in the real estate industry since 2003. Is when I first received my real estate license, and I've been practicing off and on ever since then. I remember when Louis and I first got our very first property, and it was in 1998. We were living in Memphis. 95, excuse me, 95. I'm so glad he's here, okay? 95. It was in 1995. And I remember he came home, because we were living in an apartment. We were living in Memphis, Tennessee. And he came home one day, and he was like, Tanya, we finna get a house. And I was like, what? We cannot get a house. He's like, girl, yes, we are. We finna get it built. I was like, what? We done went and picked out our lot, y'all. Done picked out a plan, y'all. We paid $500, okay. And I was like, what? Built us a house. We had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, yeah, with a single car carport, and I was happy as all get out, yes. I was like, thank you, Lord Jesus. And then State Farm moved us to Murfreesboro in 98. And of course, we built another home. Y'all, we have built 6 homes. No, we've built 5 homes, and when we moved to Texas, we purchased a new construction home as well. So God has been good to us. I love new construction, y'all. I just love new construction. So God has been good to us, and we're blessed with that. But my portion of the meeting was going to be talking about the importance of owning property. So owning property, whether it's a home or whether it's an investment property, it holds several important advantages and benefits. The importance of owning property can vary depending on your individual circumstances, your financial goals, and your cultural factors. Owning a property has some key steps toward financial well-being, and I just wanted to discuss a few of those with you while we have a few moments. So the first thing that I wanted to discuss was the community and the stability. Home ownership often fosters a sense of community. Knowing that you are invested in a particular neighborhood can lead to a stronger social connections with your neighbors, and more homeowners actively participate in local events, their community groups, and neighborhood initiatives, contributing to a more fulfilling lifestyle. Home ownership also provides a consistent and secure backdrop to children to grow and to thrive. The next thing I want to talk about, one of the reasons of owning property, is building equity. Property ownership allows you to build equity over time. As you pay down your mortgage, you increase your ownership stake in the property. This equity can be tapped into various purposes, such as funding home improvements or serving as a source of wealth. Money paid for rent, you'll never see that money again. But paying your mortgage month over month and year after year, it lets you build home ownership interest in your home. And so the current home that we're in now, we've been in there for 3 years, and we received our statement or whatever, the tax thing or whatever, and the equity in the home was already $300,000. It was already up $300,000. That is a blessing. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God! But of course, you know, there's some interest, makes my little mortgage go up a little bit. But I was like, but that is good. So the interest and that equity, which we're able to use that equity on anything that we may need. So that is a blessing, and that's considered also, it's like a savings. You can consider this like a savings. The next thing I want to talk about is wealth building. So real estate can be an effective way to build wealth over the long term. Property values tend to appreciate over time, and this can result in a capital gains whenever you decide to sell. So the census data has shown that the median price home jumped from $172,900 in the fourth quarter of 2000 to $417,700 in the fourth quarter in 2023. So that's greater than 6% average per year on average. So as your property value increases, so does your overall net worth as a homeowner. Okay? So next we're going to talk about generational wealth. Property ownership can be passed down wealth to future generations. Inheritance of property can provide further financial security and opportunities for your heirs. So you're able to pass that property down to your children, to their children, once it's paid off or whatever, and that is leaving generational wealth for your children and for their heirs. Rental income, which I know Karen talked about rental income as well. So owning investment properties can provide a source of rental income. This income can supplement your primary source of income or serve as a retirement income stream. Home ownership also opens the door to the possibility of generating additional income through renting out a portion of the property. Whether it's a spare bedroom that you have, a basement apartment, a separate dwelling unit, homeowners, you have the flexibility to explore rental opportunities. So this extra income can contribute to your mortgage payments or serve as additional source of financial security. Tax benefit. Property ownership also comes with some tax advantages, such as deductions for the interest that you're paying, your property taxes, and certain property-related expenses. And these tax benefits can reduce your overall tax liability. Next is asset diversification. Property ownership diversifies your investment portfolio. Diversification can help spread risk and reduce your exposure to market volatility and other investments such as like stocks or bonds. Another reason, a key reason of owning a property is savings. Your building equity in your home is a ready-made savings plan. Owning property requires consistent mortgage payments, essentially acting as a form of forced savings. It's kind of forcing you to save that money when you're paying your mortgage every month. The financial discipline can be particularly beneficial for individuals who may struggle with saving money on your own, and over time, this disciplined approach to ownership can result in a substantial savings and a more secure financial future. The next thing that is owning a property is good for is a hedge against inflation. Owning a home not only acts as a long-term investment, but also serves as a hedge against inflation. Unlike other assets that may lose value as inflation rises, real estate tends to appreciate, ensuring that homeowners maintain and potentially increase their wealth over the years. The inherited value preservation feature makes home ownership a strategic choice for those looking to safeguard their financial well-being in an ever-changing economic landscape. Furthermore, the appreciation of real estate amid inflation provides homeowners with a unique advantage in the wealth preservation. As the cost of living increases, the value of real estate tends to increase as well, creating a natural buffer against the erosive impact of inflation on the purchasing power of money. Freedom. Owning a home, owning a home grants the freedom to personalize and customize your living spaces according to your individual taste, whether it's painting walls or remodeling a kitchen or landscaping your backyard. Homeowners have to have the creative freedom to make their living spaces theirs. Owning a home also provides you a sense of independence and control over your living space. You're free to make decisions about your property without seeking approval from a landlord or anything, which is good. It also provides a stable housing cost. Unlike renting, where landlords may increase your rent prices periodically, home ownership provides stability in housing costs. If you have with a fixed interest rate mortgage, homeowners can budget more effectively, knowing that their monthly payments will remain consistent over the life of the loan. However, keep in mind that property taxes and insurance costs may increase. Also, long-term retirement planning. Property ownership can be an integral part of retirement planning, so it can serve as a paid-off residence or a source of rental income during retirement. For many, home ownership becomes a crucial component of long-time retirement planning. Once the mortgage is paid off, usually your house expenses are significantly reduced, allowing the retirees to allocate their funds to other aspects of the retirement lifestyle. Another aspect of owning property is building your credit. Owning a home is a great way to build credit. When you make consistent, on-time payments, your credit score improves, making it easier to obtain credit in the future. Timely and regular mortgage payments positively impact your credit score because a consistent payment history shows lenders that you are a responsible borrower. So in conclusion, the benefits of being a homeowner extend far beyond the financial realm, encompassing personal, emotional, and community-related aspects. From building equity to fostering stability for families, the advantages of home ownership are numerous and impactful. And as you embark on this journey of home ownership, consider all the benefits and recognize the profound impact that owning a property, owning a home can have on you and the families and those that you love. Okay.
All right. Good evening. My name is Fernard Hennings, and I've been a realtor for 17 years. I passed my test the first time. I'm just saying, you know. But it was that prayer that I prayed going to take that test to get it over. But And I got into real estate for one reason, that's just to help people. And when I first got into the business, or even before I got into the business, I realized that it wasn't a whole lot of people like me selling real estate. And there was a whole lot of people like me looking for real estate. And I felt like I was gonna try to bridge that gap. So, and now and my wife would tell you, I hadn't did a lot to market it myself as a real estate agent. I normally work with people I know. And she just, y'all know Cheryl. But yeah, so she really rough. But Ms. Lee had talked about investing in yourself. Ms. Brooks talked about the importance of owning real estate. My thing is, I just want to ask a question. Do you need a realtor in your home buying or selling process? And I guess a lot of times people, I just use this example, would you go to court without a lawyer? Okay. Like Bishop said, I already done preached, y'all just didn't know. I'm done, that was good right there. We don't realize how important it is for us to have representation when we go into a home buying process. And I know that you got all these builders, these national builders, that they got agents sent on duty that would offer you, well, if you don't have an agent, I can give you this. If you don't have an agent, you can get this. You can have this upgrade, you can have this upgrade. But then what you need to ask them, well, will you take that realtor's fee that you're saving off the price of the house? And then see how quick that come back, no. And then just tell them, okay, even if you go through with it, I hope that you don't, but if you go through with it, and you'll see on there, look at that closing disclosure and see where they put that money. They probably did put it anywhere, but that just, that's FYI. You need a real estate agent just like you need an attorney. One thing about an agent, these ladies can protest, that you have somebody in your corner. When you go to that building process, or even when you're driving around the neighborhood, you see a house, you say, ooh, I like that house. And you call the name that's on the sign, and then you got to understand that person's name on that sign, they work for that homeowner. Okay, they don't have any interest in you at all. They're gonna take care of their homeowner because that's who they made their commitment to. They said, I will sell your house, and they loyal to that person. Now, it doesn't say that they can't write that contract for you, and they will. But now they're not gonna give you any information. That's what the guy from the other side, your agent, would do. They'll get that information you're looking for that agent that really can't tell you. They can't give you the information about the seller. But your agent can inquire to that other one and get information. Get a realtor. Whether you buying or selling, get a realtor. Because selling, you got somebody that's gonna push your product. They're gonna push your home, your condominium, your condo, your duplex or triplex or quad. They work for you. And that's really become a big term here lately because of the way the money is about to go down, we really gonna be working for you. So we gonna have to we're gonna get money from you. Right now, the seller pays your expenses of your realtor. But I think August 17th, it ain't that way. So, but you always need a realtor to help you in your home buying process so that you can have somebody fighting for you on your team. Okay? Now, I guess a lot of y'all saying, how do I go about selecting a realtor? Most folks get their realtors from word of mouth. Most folks say, well, my cousin, got a friend down the street named Johnny, he can he'll sell your house. He'll help you buy a house. And that's usually how people get it. And then when you big time like Karen Lee and Brooks now, they got folks that's calling them all the time. So, they probably got secretaries in their house. I don't know. But, when you that big, that's what happens. But most of the time, word of mouth, and you get word of mouth for one reason, it's because you do a good job. You know, if people not happy with what you did, they're not gonna tell anybody. You know, it's just like when you go to the fast food and that burger ain't good, you ain't going to tell nobody how good that food was at a restaurant. It's the same way in real estate. And we as realtors want to do a good job. We want to take care of you. We want to make sure that you get the best situation, best deal that's possible. And this deal's out there, and there's different ways of financing, like she was saying, you know. The way the interest rates are now, we gotta find some way to get some kind of financing, because you're talking about $350,000 house, you're looking at $2,500, $2,600 payment. You know, and I don't know. I might be the only one in the room with that. That's a lot of money. You know, and then just think about this, if it's your first time. That makes it even tougher. You know, because some of y'all old folks, when they bought their houses, you know, we were buying houses $89,000, $90,000. Brooks didn't say how much she paid for that first house she got. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And that house today in Murfreesboro is $400,000 more than likely. But even at that, the way it is now, when you go out to purchase a home, you need to make a phone call to, you know, and listen, I ain't gonna get mad, I don't care how you go, okay? But I just want you to have representation when you're going to make your process, because you need representation. They got somebody on their side. You need somebody on your side. When you go to the table, your realtor should be able to negotiate that deal. It's just like a athlete when he signed a contract. Most of those guys got agent for a reason. And that agent is there to protect their interests, to get them the most money possible, and to get them a great deal. And that's what we're here to do as agents. And that's why you need us. Now, I know you don't think you do. And people that will tell you when you go that you don't need us. And I guess if I was sitting at that office and I think if I can get an extra couple of grand, I tell you whatever. But I want you all to know that you do need an agent. And listen, this lady, and Wah, you know, you got some pretty good choices of what you want. You know, and then another thing about getting an agent, especially when you're selling your house, you know, we get emotional with our houses. Our house is worth, and I ain't saying my house, I'm saying our houses is worth $500,000 to us. But to a real estate agent that knows the market and knows what your house is and what's in it, it's worth $350,000. If you don't have an agent, you're gonna try to put that house on the market as a FSBO, for sale by owner, at $500,000, and wonder why ain't nobody calling you. You know, you think it's worth $500,000, and in your mind it might be, but that agent gonna put you in the right spot. They're gonna tell you how much your house is worth, and when it comes to that, y'all do me a favor, don't get mad at us. Y'all heard what I said, us. You know, when we tell you what it's really worth, don't be mad at us, because we're doing it for your best interest, and so we can move your property. You know, it's all good to have a nice house, and we all, and I'm sure we all do, and it may cost $500,000. But if it's not worth it when it's time to sell, it's just simple, it's not worth it. And trust your agent to tell you that, and you just go with it. Don't get mad at them and fire them and go get somebody else, because they do it all the time. When people tell you it's not worth that, and you get mad at them and say, okay, I go down here, Susan told me I can get this for it. You go hire Susan. and then your house is on the market for 4 or 5 months because it's overpriced. It's overpriced. And you got people, Bishop said it earlier on the front end, we got folks right here in the house that's gonna do you right. And the thing about it now, I'm gonna say this, is that doing you right now is really becoming important. Because like I said, the way that the laws has changed is how we can't guarantee that the seller's gonna pay the expenses of a buyer's realtor. Now, they're gonna have some kind of concessions in there, but now if I'm as good as I say that I am, I got a price for you, okay? Now, my price may be, all right. My price may be $5,000, okay? But now the seller may have in their contract concessions, which is just some money to put towards it, for $2,000. And it ain't rocket science, that's $3,000 difference. I gotta have mine, okay? So when we talk, that's gonna be the first conversation. And now anybody that y'all use, when they call you, and when you call them and ask about putting your house on the market, that's gonna be the conversation. They're gonna have to find out how much are you willing to concede or how much you're gonna concess so that you can pay that other person, that buyer's agent, and me for selling, listening. And when that buyer agent come up, when y'all get ready to buy a house, y'all call me, and y'all buy a house, and I'm gonna tell y'all that I'm gonna need about 15 G's, and then they're gonna say, okay. Now, it's okay, that ain't necessarily mean you gotta pay me 15.
Right.
But when that deal go through, I need $15,000. At the closing table, they need to have a check to, for my brokers for 15 grand. Now, the concession may be $10,000. And again, we still 5 short. So that's gonna be the conversation that your agent gonna have with you on the front end from this point on. Used to be you didn't have to worry about it because the seller paid all the expenses. Now that it's gonna come back, that the buyer's gonna have to pay the agent some of their money or some of their worth. So just be prepared for that when y'all, get ready to sell those big houses. Just call us. We got you. We're gonna take care of you. We're gonna treat you right, but you're gonna pay us. Okay? That's it. Listen, I guarantee you're not gonna get any better service anywhere else than right here at the Z. We got you. We got you, but listen, if you a house clean and I need my house clean, I gotta pay you. Okay? When you call that dude to wash your car and detail your car, you gotta pay him. And I know he probably won't say it, but I might have said, it's no church discount. Pay the man. Pay the man. Why do we ain't gonna go there. But we're gonna take care of you how you wanna do it. But all I'm saying is one thing. You need a realtor, buying or selling, and you got choices. Got pretty good choices too. Yeah. I mean, some may be better than others. I ain't talking about me, but they may be better than me, which I wouldn't be surprised at all. You got choices, so use your choices, and we're gonna take care of you. All right?
Can all of our agents go up? We're gonna do some Q&A real quick, and I'm gonna start it off. If you have a question, you can just come up to a microphone.
Hey, Karen.
Sister Wilder, you guys are going to hear from her tomorrow, but she is also a real estate agent. Broker.
Oh, yeah. That's different.
Sister Wilder Dunn. Oh, Dunn. My bad. Thank you. Y'all hear Brooke Ken? He said, no. Dunn. My apologies. Sister Dunn. So there's some people, and I get this all the time, there's people who have inherited property and don't really know when or if they should sell. So like if there's been like a piece of property that's been in the family for a long time and I own it, when or should I get the money off of it, or should I just keep it in the family and pass it on to my kids? When is anybody gonna ever make money off this property?
Let me say this. I'm going through that situation now with my family. We got some acreage back, my bad. We got some acreage back in West Tennessee that my grandfather had. And now that some of his children want to sell, and then some that don't. So we are actually in the process of trying to buy the one that want to sell out because they want their money now, and the rest of us want to continue to do the generational thing. So we just holding on to it because I found out something. I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I do till y'all find him. But they ain't making no more land. And so that's one thing we thought about. The group that's buying, we said it's land that we can't never get it back, and that we got it already. Granddad that worked hard to get it. You know, he bought that land in '54, so I knew what he went through to get it. And so, you know, we just don't want to sell it. But now it's really up to that individual if they want their money now or if they want to save it for the generationals to come behind them.
I would like to piggyback on that. With that being said, title is a good place to start because they will actually do some research to find out if you have a sister, you have a brother, because if your sister passed, then it goes to her kid. So you just can't, my brother, sell the property. You just can't. You can't pocket the money. It's a title situation.
I agree. And when we found this out, we ended up with 35 heirs to that property. And the sad thing, well, I ain't gonna say sad, I had an aunt that was my granddaddy's daughter that died. Her husband remarried. He died. So that wife is part of the heirship. Yeah. She just fell right in line.
So it's safe to say, and I think Pastor Johnson's gonna be talking about this living trust, this making sure you set that up right to say who's gonna get what.
That's right. And also get it set into LLC or some trust and close it up to where they can't use my name. If I owe somebody some money, they can't come out and put a lien on my property that all of us own because it's protected in the trust.
All right, my last question, and I'm gonna let somebody else ask a question. We still have about 12 minutes to ask questions. What is the best type of real estate property or investment you would give to a young person who's like maybe just graduated college, they're trying to get their life going, they, you know, what would you suggest? And they really don't have a whole lot of money, they just now trying to find a job, but what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say but as long as they buy, they're investing in themselves. You know, so whatever they buy, a condo, it's going to appreciate. Even if they don't have that many funds, even if they don't even have a down payment and they need to buy in a rural development, which is zero down. And then if you get a realtor, the realtor can negotiate on the closing costs. They could come in. I mean, I have had somebody come to the table with $1,000. It's all in the realtor that you pick. You know, but however, as long as they invest in themselves and really don't rent because you're giving it away, you would never make a return on renting. So I'm sure whoever that person is, they could invest in themselves. Even if it's not in Murfreesboro, on the outside, somewhere, as long as they invest in themselves, and then they don't even have to reside in that particular to lease that. So
And
don't kick CJ out.
And I would agree with what she says, as long as you're, trying to get, whether it's a single family, a condo, or something, that you're paying money, investing into yourself, and not just giving that rent money away, because what you're paying in rent, you can find something. And don't think of it as, oh, but this is not my forever home. Just like Karen said, you don't have to live in it forever, but at least you're owning that property, that it's yours. So I would say, get into something, whether it's in, she talked about being on the outskirts, whether you have to go out to get, there's all different types of loans out there, down payment assistance programs out there, which I know the mortgage person, they'll talk about all of that. I don't wanna go into their stuff. But, so there's different things out there. So I would definitely, get out there and contact a realtor so we can go out there and help you all find what you're looking for.
Okay, so I had a couple questions. Well, really it's one. So the first thing that, in this room, so what I was wondering about, because I was wondering about the one thing that stood out is that fee, the realtor fee, how it's not going to be like the seller paying it now. So I was like super shocked by that, and then I was like, does that mean that? And I know it can kind of vary between different realtors, but does that mean that their fee, like y'all's fee, will go up now for the buyer, or on that aspect as far as how much you charge, or is that kind of going to stay steady? It's not going to have any effect?
Additionally, it's no written rule that you gotta do 3% or 6% total for the sale. That's just something that kind of got going, but it could be any amount, any percentage amount towards the profit of the purchase of the house. So it depends on the real estate agent to what they feel like their worth is to you and the property that you purchased.
Okay.
So it could be more, it could be less.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a comment that I have to tell y'all because I'm old and I'll forget if I don't. When Bishop asked about air property, be careful when you write obituaries. If you are selling a property with heirs and someone is a son but isn't a biological son, the title company will do a search. They will pull up the obituary, and you will have to split money with the people who are on there, or get a signature saying that, no, I'm not really their biological. So just remember that on the obituaries.
And then that process, Bishop, can take years. It can take years. However, with my mother-in-law, she was knowledgeable enough to do a trust. And her kids did, it was really smooth. It was smooth.
We in our thing over a year already, so like it could be a long time.
My question is simple. What are some creative strategies to find off-market deals?
Off-market deals?
Off market.
How do we find deals as buyers? How do we find deals as buyers that we're not going to see on the MLS?
You have a connect, oh, go ahead.
I'm not gonna tell you. We're not gonna tell you how to find off market deals.
Your realtor would do that for you.
If we tell you how to find off market deals, we're unemployed.
Well, I'm just trying to, since y'all the real estate agents of Zion, could y'all come up with a creative way? But yeah, so that's, when I think of investing, that's the first thing I think about. I want to find a property no one else knows about, right? So if it's, I know a lot of people, this wholesaling thing is a phenomenon, things of that nature where you partner up and you see all these bandit signs and all that around, we'll buy your house for dirt cheap. nothing wrong as is. Do you all come across those strategies, and is that something that you all kind of look for in an everyday basis as far as prospecting for your properties?
Well, I come across, I have a network of realtors that I deal with on the side, and we have a little, we have a group that we talk about, you know, some deals, some things that's coming up, some things that's off market, and we'll share with each other, hey, I got this, and we could sell off market property, you know, without even it hitting the MLS. Also, Monica is amazing at owner financing. You know, even if someone is not able to get a traditional loan, that's a way to go if you have some money set aside.
And on that note, if you're gonna do anything like that, well, when you're buying real estate, you're gonna have to have one or two things, or both. You're gonna have credit or money. If you ain't got credit, you need a lot of money. And if you got a lot of money, you don't need credit. But you're gonna need one or two, if not both. You know, so a big wad of money can get you a lot of things. A lot of things. A lot of things.
Anybody have any other questions for our real estate agents? Go ahead, Sister Tina.
So I just have a question. Like when someone quit claim, they're, you know, like out of it, and are they removed from the title? Like if I go to the county clerk's office and pull up, want to see who owns this property, will it only show one person's name on there, or will it still show the other person's name on there that quit claimed it to you?
It should show all ownership of the property. It should. Now, Monica may can answer that better than I can.
I can answer it.
Well, to my right.
Actually, it will show up, but it will also fall off, because they're giving up their rights to the property. It depends on when they record it. Do you know for sure timeline, Monica? Yeah, it just really whenever they record it, but it will fall off. As soon as they sign that quit claim, they're giving up their rights. And then it's just up to the registry office to record it, and it will state that person's name.
My parents did that for me, and it didn't become legally mine until after 5 years, but that was in 2014, so I don't
Okay.
know what it is today, but after 5 years, it officially became mine.
I did a quit claim, actually in 2014, and it was off, because I did it in November, and it was actually off probably right in December.
Amen. Let's give it up for our real estate agents one more time. Hey, everybody, let's take a quick 2.5-minute break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about mortgages, because now we learn how the importance of real estate. The next step is you got to have some money. You got to have some money to go buy this thing, right?
That's right.
All right, so let's take a quick 2.5-minute break.
He'll probably use it. Well, it's whoever's coming up next.
Yes, sir.
mean, you know, we all want to do business with people we trust, right? And so you have people here that you know, like, they won't, if they do you wrong, they'll be kind of embarrassed to show up to church the next day, the next Sunday. Like, ooh, that's so-and-so. And so I think you're going to be in a safe space by using these real estate agents. So make sure you pull them to the side and use them in your next home purchase. Now, everybody was, or sell, or investing, or flips, whatever. To go do that, most of us, here's the topic that we all are interested in, right? Because, you know, if you were like me, when we bought our first house, I don't even know how they gave us the loan. Okay. I looked at my own credit and was like, ooh, I wouldn't give me money. So that's what we all want to know. Some of you may have been working on your credit and you're like, I'm waiting to get my 800. And you may have a good enough score right now to go purchase, and you just don't know it. So here to talk about the mortgage. He's in the mortgage business now. Like, this is right here in Zion, everybody. We're going to walk you through this whole process. And he's coming up now, and I'll let him introduce himself and talk more about what he does. Mr. Chauncey Denton.
Hello. How everybody doing? We good? All right, I'm Chauncey Denton. I'm going to introduce myself. I am 42 years old, from Florida, the great state of Florida. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
From West Palm Beach by way of Jacksonville. Came up here about 12 years ago to do the car business. Was doing car business in Jacksonville, Florida. Met Jacqueline Denton in Florida, that beautiful young lady over there in the green. Yes, sir. All right. Met her in Jacksonville, selling cars. Okay. I got a little corny joke about that. Didn't sell her a car that day, but I sold her the dream. We're still living it, okay? All right? And so, you see, all right now, yes I did. 2 kids with her, 3 girls all together. That's who I am. So I'm a dad, I'm a hard-working man. Done car business, got out of the car business because it was just too many hours, every weekend, every other Sunday, that type of thing. So mortgages allowed me to serve the community, my community, y'all, right? Serve us a little bit better than the cars did, and it allowed me to be home with the kids more to help them, you know, kind of start chasing their dreams and aspirations as well. So that's what we're doing. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing mortgages, right? And I'm gonna be honest, right? I've only been in mortgages for a small amount of time. However, I am one of those YouTube researchers. I'm one of those Google researchers. So I've been researching and talking about real estate with guys that do real estate and stuff like that. But now I know the laws behind it. Now I know the process behind it as well. So what I want to do today in this small allotted amount of time is, I can't teach you mortgages, but what I can do is make you feel a little bit more comfortable with it, so that way when you're ready to do it, whether it's me, whether it's anybody else, you can go out there and you know enough to be a little dangerous, right? You know enough so somebody can't just sell you on a dream and you never retain that dream, right? Or you get a nightmare after you thought you bought a home, you thought this and blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna give you a quick story. So I'm on the phone speaking with a customer, and I don't know how this happened. Yes, I do, because I've been in the car business long enough, and guess what? I've been in mortgages long enough to know this now. This guy thought he signed up for a 20-year mortgage, right? Which I had to do the math on that, okay? This thing was 240 payments. I had to do it on my calculator. I was like, man, I never saw this before, because I've only focused on 360-month loans, payment loans, which is 30 years. And so he thought he had a 20-year loan, and he had a 30-year loan, which is basically somebody telling you can get it at this payment, and then you thought it was 20 years, and you don't check your documents. You don't check your documents, and now you got a 30-year loan, okay? So I want to break down some of these myths so that way you guys feel a little bit more comfortable. So the number one thing, first thing I want to tell you is, there are 3 laws I'm going to go over with you, okay? And then I want to give you a couple scenarios, and then I want to let you guys ask a couple questions. All right, let me pull my things up because they got. So the first law I want to tell you about, I got to go off the head because I thought I saved it. First law I want to tell you about is called HMDA. It's HMDA, Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, okay? Which is just telling us, it's a good law for us actually. So when you're doing a credit out with a credible source, right? A credible source, they have literature that they have to read off to you, right? It's federal literature. And I haven't memorized it yet, I ain't supposed to memorize it, but what I will tell you is it's gonna ask you questions about your ethnicity. Me personally, in the past, I've said, oh, I don't want them to know I'm black, right? No, tell them you're black, you're African American, yes I am, right? They're gonna ask you if you're white, they're gonna ask you if you're Asian, if you're this, if you're that. However, what we find out now that I'm in mortgages is this law is to protect us. This law is for, just like in the car business, we did a lot of damage, not me personally, it was the guys before us, did a lot of damage in mortgages too with not treating us fairly. So they came up with this law so that the government, if they use it right, they can hold these people accountable. Wells Fargo got hit with, I forget how many hundreds of millions of dollars in auto land because they were discriminating against black community and Mexican community. So this law is used to help them figure out if we're being discriminated with mortgages. So let's use that law, all right? So if they're not reading that federal disclosure to you, you need to ask them about it. Hey, isn't there a HMDA? That's what we call it in mortgage. Isn't there a HMDA law? Aren't you supposed to be reading something to me, asking me about, you know, who I am, okay? So you need to look for that. So that's the first big thing that I want to tell you. If they're not asking this type of stuff and they're not telling you, hey, I got to read this federal document to you and asking you these questions, chances are these people aren't that credible and you need to put your antennas up, okay? Could be you got a lazy mortgage guy, but chances are these people just aren't that credible and they want to kind of take advantage of you, okay? All right, the next law that I want to go over with you is, and I always mess this one up, Jackie helped me study for it, so if I don't remember, hopefully she gonna remember, right? But it's called RESPA, which is Real Estate Settlement Procedures and Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, okay? Which is another law that they put in there, and this is for everyone. But what this law does is it tells us, hold on, I got all of them in my head floating so quick. This protects us from what we used to call it in Florida as being middleman to death, okay? This makes sure that when we're doing these settlement things like your appraisals, your credit reports, or anything related to title work, anything like that, it makes sure that this person can't charge you $50, and because you're coming to me and I know it's $50, I can't say, hey, listen, you charge 50, I'm gonna charge them 100. All right, I'm gonna give you, matter of fact, I'm gonna give you 75. I'm gonna be 75, right? I'm gonna give right against the law. Now there's a small buffer for them to do it, but they can't double that cost on you too. And the other thing that this does, that RESPA does, is it makes sure that, say for instance, I own the mortgage company, and then I tell you that, hey, you got to use this company here for your appraisal. And the whole time I own this company as well, right? Yeah, you can't do that. It's against the law, right? Big lawsuit. If I work at Loan Depot, but if they got caught up with that, doing that to me, it'd be Chauncey Depot, okay? All right? Right, good. And so two very important laws right there. And then the third law I want to go over with you is TILA, which is known as Truth in Lending Act, okay? So, and this is just pretty much, it is what it is with this. We got to tell you the truth. We got to give you documents, and I might be blending a couple of these, one or two of these, but we got to give you documents. These documents have to be truthful. And when you get to the closing table, these documents need to match, okay? They also need to come out in a timely fashion. So there are a lot of documents that you're gonna get when doing a mortgage. They are time sensitive, okay? These documents are time sensitive, and they are budget sensitive too. Forgive me for not knowing the sensitivity, but if I'm remembering correctly, on interest rate, it's either a quarter point, it's either 0.15, I believe, or a quarter point that can go up, like buffer from beginning to end without us giving you another document. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Now this is why I went over the HMDA portion first, because the documentation is critical, and I hope we've all heard. Has anyone ever heard that the devil is in the details, right? So when you're getting these documents, like Jackie will tell you, I'm so meticulous with documents. I was at the closing table rereading all the documents, and our real estate agent at the time was a young lady that we moved up from Jacksonville, Florida with. Her husband was in the car business with us. He's actually my boss at Toyota of Cool Springs. He kind of run the dealership, but I got to look at the details. I got to make sure that when I close on this home, I know exactly what me and my family has. And it's easy to get caught up in the hype of, I got a home, I got this, they told me the payment was this, they told me blah, blah, blah. But guess what? It's in the details. So you need to save your information. Everybody got a smartphone. Let it be smart, right? Save that information, put it on your phone, and start checking the hard numbers. I ain't telling you to read every little document. You should have read majority of it already, but you need to know what you're signing before you sign that stuff, because that's what a devil is when you're talking about doing any type of contracts. Car business as well. Can't tell you the horror stories that I've heard being in management in a car dealership when, somebody say, hey, they told me blah, blah, blah. And then you got to figure that out. So that's the most important things that I could tell you doing mortgages, right? The last thing, or might be the last thing, I want to say this too, is depending on your home, because this is what scared me from a long time from getting into mortgages, right? Depending on the price point of your home is going to depend on how much money. And what I mean is, it's a percentage, right? So you buy a $100,000 house, you got FHA, okay? FHA is mine too, right? It's federal home, Lord, give it to me. I got a lot going through my head right now. It's hard for me to pull it out. But FHA is going to give you 3.5, right? So if you're buying a $100,000 home, 3.5 of that, somebody do the math for me, and then that's what you owe. Now you might have closing, right? But to be honest, some of that could be worked out with the seller. Some of that could be worked out with me at the mortgage company or any lender that you're doing, especially if you're buying. If you're buying a new home, if you're going with the lender's financing, some of those lender financing people, they're going to take care of that for you too. I did it, right? And they told us it couldn't be done. I said, I can't move forward because you told me this, right? And so don't let the money aspect scare you away from buying a home, because could it get expensive? Yes. But I can promise you, if you rent a house, it's already expensive anyway, right? Because you can't get any of that money back. If you're doing a conventional loan, right, you got to have your stuff together to do a conventional loan. You could have to have reserves in the bank to do a conventional loan, but the minimum's 3% there, right? Ain't that much. 3.5, 3% is not a lot of money to purchase a home. Moderate home, 200, 250, 300 even, right? You can save up for it, you can be in a home within a year, right? We give up them taxes for it, you could be in a home within a year. And the benefit to that, this is what I do, this is like the meat and potatoes of my business that I do at Loan Depot. I'm not really the purchase home guy. Can I do it? Yes. 70 to 80% of my business that I'm doing is called refinances, cash out refinances. This is where I guess the wealth portion of it comes in, is with being able to buy a rental property, right? How do you afford a rental property though? I'm on the phone with these guys every day, and I got people paying off debt, remodeling the home, getting it ready to rent out. Now they putting it on Airbnb. They're not coming up with this cash out of their bank accounts now. They calling in, they're refinancing their house, and they're cashing out on some of that. Now, you gotta be smart with that. That's a long topic, but I just want you to understand that once you have a home that you're paying mortgage on, that money, that rent money that just go bye-bye, you ain't doing that no more. You got mortgage, you're putting it in a pot for yourself, and you can tap into that when it's time for you to tap into it. If you're going through a crisis, if you're getting ready to go buy a second home because you want to set your kids up, if you're getting ready to buy a second home because you want to do Airbnb, you want to rent it out, you know, whatever it could be, you can tap into that, and just like that, you got 2, 3 homes. You understand? But that's just the power of having a mortgage versus rent, and those are some of the laws that you got to know. Okay. Anybody got questions though? Did I burn everybody's mental capacity up? Okay. You need me to go over the laws again?
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead.
What does that credit score need to be like
Oh, that's a great question.
for the average consumer that wants to buy a house?
7? No, I'm just playing. All right. So that's a good one. I forgot that I had that. 520 is my company's 520 and up. Yeah, absolutely. Really? Let me say this too, and you know, I'm okay with sharing this. When I started my process, and this is what I suggest everyone do. I would have told you to do this before I got in mortgages, okay? Because this is what I did. I knew we wanted to buy a house. We were pregnant, I think, when we started this process. Second time, all right? I tell you, I got 3 of them, all girls, all right? I had my 3rd girl on the way. And Jackie was like, oh, I just think it's time for us to get a house. And I'm like, Lord, how are we going to afford a house? My credit ain't ready for no house. What are we going to do? And it just hit me. And it's just like a car deal. Go get approved or go get denied and let them tell you why you got denied. So I said, okay, God, let me go see if we get approved. I think at the time I was working on my credit, you know, it ain't always been good. Right, I was working on it. And I want to say I was 530, maybe 560 at the time, right? And guess what? I went in, we found a house that we liked, a neighborhood, right? Was that? No, we didn't. We found a house we almost liked. Almost liked. It was real close. On a scale from 1 to 10, it was a 6, but it was on the right side of the 6, so it was almost a 7. And then we met a guy named Bryce, right, the realtor at the time, and he said, oh, you guys need to go to this neighborhood. It's the same builder as me, so I can get you set up with an agent over there. So we went there and we saw the house, and we were like, oh, yeah, this is the one. And they said, okay, well, if you go with us, we'll give you 20 grand, some small number, come to find out, for upgrades. And we surpassed that the first 10 minutes. We was in the doggone place anyway. Went over there like 3 times. But they gave us credit. They told us they weren't going to take care of closing costs, but they took care of them closing costs, and we got approved the same day. And while we were waiting on the house to be built, we improved our credit even more, right? And when they started talking crazy about they're not going to do the closing fees, I said, okay, well, let me go over here, because I was a 5-something when we started. I'm a 730 right now, right? Because they took a long time to build the house, and we obtained credit elsewhere. And then they just did what we needed them to do, close the deal. So don't be scared of your score. We made it happen in the car business, and a lot of times, as long as your debt to income ain't crazy, and you in the low to mid 500s, it's a way. Especially if you're buying a new home, like you got time to clean that stuff up. You know what I mean? You got time, and you need to know your budget, how much house you can afford. You need to know, is there any little easy things on your credit that you can take care of and get a higher score? You can qualify for more money. You need to know all this type of stuff before you start going out there looking for houses. Don't do it the hard way, okay? All right, now, everybody feel a little bit more comfortable? No questions? Watch Sunday, everybody gonna be asking me questions.
If you have the credit, but then you have student loan debt that's preventing you from being able to go further with that, how do you get past that?
When you say you got student credit debt, like So it's really not a matter of just student loan debt, right? It's just a total debt to income. You're gonna have which I'm not gonna get too crazy in it, but bottom line is all your bills, right? When you buying a home, needs to be around 47% of your income. 47, your outgoing. And we're talking about things that can be seen on your credit, right? We're talking about, right now, if you're renting, we're talking about your rent, because we're gonna talk about the house. They're gonna ask you how much home you're thinking, and then they're gonna give you a guesstimation. I don't know why they ask that dumb question. They're gonna tell you how much you can afford. And then based on how much home you're going for, that's gonna give them a payment, and you're gonna need to add that payment into your liabilities you already have on your credit, right? And that's gonna give you, and that ratio is basically gonna be all of your bills totaled up, credit bills, right? And let's just say the mortgage you're looking at is gonna be, I don't know, $1,200 to $1,500. So you add that into that, and that gives you a total debt load, and you're gonna divide that, where we at? You got a total debt, and you're gonna divide that by, oh Lord, everybody looking at me, I can't pull it out my head right now. You do your debt. I'm gonna come back to you. If I don't get it, if I can't say it up here because I'm froze, I'll come right back to you and tell you as soon as I get down. So I can't. Go ahead.
I had a question. I know that you said that you weren't so much on the purchasing side, but what would be an ideal situation, especially if you don't plan on being at the home forever? This isn't your forever home, maybe your starter home. When is it ever ideal to take out an ARM loan instead of a traditional? Is there ever an ideal?
So, and I'm biased. I'm a traditional man, and I'm a safe bet man, right? I really don't like arms. I like knowing, only thing I got faith in is God. I don't have faith in this market. I want to have faith in what these interest rates are gonna do, because that's what you're setting yourself up on. Now, what people use arms for, from what I know, is these are people that are like business guys, right? But if your credit dips, you stuck. And that's the scary part. So we were going over arm scenarios, and you really have to understand the literature, because your rates can move up. Like that first, you could have a lock for 5 years, you could have a lock for 2 years, whatever, it could be 10 years. But then those rates start creeping up every year, right, in increments. If you don't know how to read your cap, you could be stuck. Oh my God. So me personally, I'm not a fan of anything moving around. I'm the only thing that need to be moved around these 50 states, right? I don't want my interest rates moving around. So I would tend to shy away from those.
Got it.
Because you just don't know what's around the corner. I just always try to prepare for what's around the corner, and we can't see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was just something that was kind of kicked around when me and my husband were building in 2022. Like they were like 1.9%, and so they were being pushed at that point in time. But my other question is, for those who may not be accustomed to a lot of the down payment programs, what are the pros and cons to those? Because when I was researching, I saw that there were a lot. It looks appealing initially on the surface, but some, like the Shanoa Fund, like you have to stay there for so long. If you sell it, then you have, all these other liabilities that you have to. So I just wanted, that was my last question.
So yeah, and no problem, you can ask me any as you want. But, so I'm gonna tell you, to be honest, that I tend to tell people, Florida has a lot, every state has a lot of down payment assistance that you don't even have to pay back, right? We just gotta look and find those, right? But at the end of the day, you really have to dig deep, and you gotta look at the details all over again, because everybody, if they're giving you free money, you gotta know that they're gonna have some rules for it, right? And so if you don't know all the rules, then shame on you. They gave you free money, you gotta know the free rules. So I would use them, and I wish I was smarter back then to see if we could have applied and got some of those, because I would've got that free money. And if I needed to sit down for 5 years, I would've sat down for 5 years. We plan on being in Murfreesboro anyway, right? But I don't think getting free money is a bad thing. I just think you really have to read the details. And there's so many programs out there that it's kind of hard to speak on that because it's so broad. But you sound like you versed. You sound like you a YouTube warrior just like me, if not better.
University.
Come on. Any more questions? Anybody? No, this was an easy class. Now, and then right back to you. So I'm sorry, it's an easy question actually. So your overall debt, right, all your debt, and then you're gonna divide that by your income. I don't know why it's so hard. It's everybody looking at me waiting for the answer. All right, so, all right, we good then.
I got a question.
Okay, good.
Would you recommend people use their gross or their net when determining their debt to income ratio?
Oh, good job. We use gross. And that's a great question too, to be honest. Because a lot of times we shoot ourselves in the foot, right? I don't know, as a community, I'm just say, as black people, we just be so honest. And that's great, right? But sometimes we're overly honest. They ask us how much money we made, right? And our make is based off of gross. And gross is with the taxes in there. And this is how every loan that I've done in the car business, that I've done in mortgages, and I ain't did a lot in mortgages yet, let me just throw that out there, right? But every one that I've done has been based off of gross. So when they ask you this, I don't want you to subtract the two or anything. I want you to figure out if you are hourly, I want you to do how much money you make per hour, all that. I want you to add it all up. I make this amount of money. And guess what? They're gonna verify it anyway. Right, but this is the problem, and everybody please hear me when I say this. And I'm bringing up car business, I did that a long time, but it's the same thing, and I see it in mortgages. People are lazy, right? And guess what? Some days I'm lazy too, because I got 3 girls, okay? So I had to be strong at home, and I got weak at work. But what I can tell you is this. Sometimes when you're working with people and they got stuff going on, they don't even think to double check your income. You know what I mean? This is why I got promoted so quick. I'm telling you, I was 36, general sales manager, and black people was coming to the dealership and say, I need to speak to your general sales manager. And I walk out, say, I didn't know y'all existed. We got black general sales manager. So, but this is how I made it, is because I check income. I check income. Because if I put the information in and I shoot it over to a bank, or I run it through my AUS system in the mortgages, it could cancel the deal just based off of the information that my honest, sweet community gave this old lazy behind associate. And they don't double check, they don't ask you. And so I've seen so many loans already get disqualified in mortgages because we gave them, great question, we gave them net income and we didn't check and verify, and they too lazy. I got somebody doing push-ups over here, got somebody watching Netflix, somebody else got Donald Trump getting shot in the ear on his YouTube. They don't want to ask these questions to you. They're expecting you to be the professional when we are the professionals, right? So please give up gross income. I'm so glad you asked that question. It was worth spending some time on.
In mine, it's kind of like more of a comment than it is a question.
Take those, sir.
I know that when we started our home buying process, I was a person, like, when I get locked in on something and I want to do something, like, I go crazy about it. Yes, I'm tunnel vision about it. And so I was talking to Jeremiah. He was like, you know, honey, like, I don't think we can afford it. And I'm like, nah, I feel like we can. I think this was right around the COVID time. COVID time. And so I was like, nah, I think if we don't do it right now, that I think we're gonna miss out. And so what I did is, because I need to be better at it, but what I don't necessarily go straight to the professionals is immediately. Like, I want to kind of get education so that when I am talking to someone and they are giving me terminology and verbiage, I can kind of understand what they're saying. So as far as when you said the debt to income ratio, I know I did, I downloaded trustworthy credit app. And so, and then I also visited a lot of like websites because I want to cross-reference to make sure that the numbers are looking right. And I would kind of calculate my debt to income ratio, all of that, just so I could figure out how much house I can afford, how much of a mortgage I can afford, and try to stick around that area when I was looking for houses. And I would calculate, like, if this house is this much money, okay, if I break this down into the 30-year terms or something like that, I can still afford it. So I did a lot of my own research on the front end before actually going to someone.
Absolutely.
So that's,
Yeah,
that's it.
and number one, good job for you. I'm so proud of you. Go do your research. Dot your I's, cross your T's. But I can close with this because I think we done questioned that. I don't think anybody's else. Oh, wait, go ahead.
What market company do you work for and do you have any cars?
All right, so I work for Loan Depot.
Loan Depot.
Yes, number 2 in the country for mortgages, right? Number 2 lender. I don't have cars, but you know where I'm at. Now listen, here's the deal. They ain't paid for my cars yet. They say they're gonna pay for them. But I want to tell you two things. I want to tell you. I don't have the state of Tennessee yet. I have Colorado, Arizona, Indiana, and I'm missing one state. So if y'all know people over there, tell them about it. But Tennessee is gonna be on my second wave. So I'll probably have Tennessee in another month and a half to 3 months. I don't know why. I'm in Tennessee, y'all. Come on. I'm based out of Arizona with the company, but I'm in Tennessee. Y'all don't give me Tennessee the first time I know something. But I want to touch on this and I can be done. I'm sorry, Bishop. I know mine probably took the longest. But I want to say this because she said, I bought my second house right before COVID too, and my sister told me, oh, Sean, don't do it. This COVID thing going to shake up the world. I said, sis, I got to live. Well, I can't keep throwing money out. I've been throwing money out for about a year and a half, 2 years when we got back from Atlanta. I bought the house. There's never going to be a perfect time for you to buy the house. But I can tell you this, and if y'all ain't learned nothing yet, you see what happened during COVID. Eggs got higher. Milk was higher. I knew you was gonna say chicken. Cars, I don't know why I shouldn't even open that. I knew he was gonna say chicken. Cars was selling over sticker. Homes was selling over their asking prices. So there's never gonna be a perfect time, but I can tell you, if you keep waiting on it, it's gonna be more expensive. That house you was looking at for $250 is probably $350, $375 right now. So buy a piece of America as soon as you can, because it's not gonna get cheaper. It is not gonna get any cheaper. So you buy it, save some money, miss out on a couple trips, forfeit that income tax. I know, ooh, Lord, we be waiting on it. Forfeit it, right? And tap into that 401k or come up with a second savings account that both of y'all agree that you're just gonna put money in, you ain't gonna touch it for a year. And go buy a house. And let that house start working for you. So you ain't gotta keep working for your rent. And realistically, I promise you this, I got a lot of friends that got a lot of real estate, and this is what made me know that mortgages was my next step. These guys are renters, they're landlords, they are lords of their land. And when my rich buddy, what's his name from Tampa? He's Italian. This dude, 70 years old, had 40-something townhouses in Tampa. Older guy, but either way, when he took off work from the car business for 2.5, 3 years, he tapped into his real estate, tapped into it, and he was good for 2.5, 3 years. And this is what your landlords are doing. They're using your rent money to pay for their livelihoods, right? Why we can't do that? We can, right? We can do it. You just got to start from somewhere so you can have the options later on, okay? All right, cool. All right, cool. Thanks, bro.
Has this not been good, you guys?
Yes.
All right. So tomorrow night, we have 3 presenters tomorrow night. Starting us off tomorrow night, Miss Monica Dunn is going to be talking about entrepreneurship and talking about creating wealth from your own abilities and your own talents and your own skills and and whatever else she wants to talk to us about. But from what I found out through my own conversations and what I've heard from other people, that's a bad lady right there now. So y'all get to experience it. And then at 7:05, we have a certified licensed CPA, Keisha Gilmore, is going to be in here talking to us about some tips and practices as far as all of your businesses, your setups, LLCs, and 1099s and tax strategies and things of that nature. And then Pastor Johnson is, did I have your Wednesday right, Pastor Johnson? Pastor Johnson is going to be talking to us about living wills and trust and all the things that she does with her business as well. All right? Anybody have any questions? All right. So we'll dismiss. We're going to do this like old school revival. We'll dismiss on Thursday. We'll dismiss on Thursday. Eh? That's cool. Until such a time, may the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent, one from another. Amen. God bless you.